say to both of you, Bruce Walker and Mr. Mark Lake and the rest of the Florida guys, congratulations. Woohoo! Let's party. Keep it off, babe. Yeah. Hey, y'all know who I am. And today I'm here for a special reason. Today in my skateboard life is one of the greatest days, as well as one of the saddest days. The Skateboard Hall of Fame is coming up in California tomorrow, and two of the greatest people in skateboarding I've ever known, and two of the greatest men I've ever known, Bruce Walker and Mark Lake, are getting inducted. And what is great, and that's just the greatest thing in the world. I mean, those two men are legends since the 70s, and congratulations, boys. I mean, I'm going to say that a lot probably in the next few minutes, so just get used to it. You deserve it. But anyway, Mark and Bruce mean so much to me, and I'm glad and so stoked that they're in the Hall of Fame. Why I'm sad is my pathetic team member ass can't get his way to California to be there with my two good friends as they are inducted. So that's the really sad day for me. Is I've skated for 47, 48 years now. I don't know. I can't stop keeping count. And this would be one of the biggest highlights, you know, is being part of that, because I'm never ever going to be in the Skateboard Hall of Fame. So at least getting to go and honor two people that have earned it more than anything, Mark Lake and Bruce Walker, it would be great. Also, Bruce, Mark, Dave Bamdis, and who else from the Lake or Mark Lake or Walker camp is out there. Sorry that I'm not there with you. Glad that the East Coast is being represented, and I just want to speak a little piece about how Bruce and Mark and some other people, you know, brought me into the skateboard world from out in the country like this. We're at literally at the end of the road I live in, and my ex-wife's house, parents' house, is right down the street. I could see it from here. So I'm in my home neck of the woods, which, as you can see, isn't much but a country road. And I've been able to find skate spots on these country roads all my life, and the story of it goes kind of in the 70s. It was, you know, seeing pictures of Bruce Walker and other East Coasters in the magazines in the early 75, 76, when I was just a little grommet and didn't know what I was doing, some idiot. And it was turning me on to see East Coast in there, you know, Cocoa Beach, Florida, and it was all the coastal towns and stuff. And we had some skate parks. It was huge in 76, 77. We had the Waynesville skate park, and it was awesome. But I was just an unheard of little kid in the 6th and 7th grade, you know. But anyway, so 78, 79, 8th grade, getting into near high school, and skateboarding became my primary number one. But the skate parks had all gone here, so I didn't really have any connection other than just skating around the campus of Mars Hill College and skating around, you know, locally. And I skated mostly around streets, and I would just adapt street, you know, park moves and things I saw in the magazines to street curbs and street things and banks and such. But anyway, at this time I started seeing pictures of Mark Lake and Sean Petty, and it was, you know, Mike Fulmer and all these guys. They were East Coast, and I was like, well, you can do that from the East Coast, but, you know, there's no parks and there's no stuff like that. So it was, you know, it was just still, you know, a fun thing to do, and I didn't really care about it. I had no idea about being a pro skateboarder or anything like that, or street skating. But in 1980, Steve Olson and street skating actually became something that had we had a category. We were street skaters. We went out and street skated. We rode one of those boards with the yellow lines down the middle, and you know, Steve Olson became like a hero. But you know, Mark Lake and all those, Sean Petty and Mike Fulmer, they were just all heroes. And Bruce Walker is like this legendary, you know, guy that starts his own company, Walker Skateboards. So I fall in love with Walker Skateboards. So I go through high school, and skateboarding goes through its, you know, its decline there, and it's died down, and skateboarding died out. And if it wasn't for John Herndon, who's a great member of the band Tortoise and a legendary, you know, skateboarder and musician himself, hey John, John and I kept skating through high school, but we were the only two, and nobody cared about it, and we weren't even cool enough to not like. Anyway, but so after high school, I didn't know what to do, and John had moved to California, but he moves back, and skateboarding's back and everything, and then we see the magazines again, and lo and behold, there's Walker ads in these magazines. And then one Walker ad was a photo of an ad for Don Lloyd from North Carolina. And I'm like, what? And so Don Lloyd's a freestyler, ramp skater, street skater from North Carolina. Reggie Barnes is another freestyler riding for Walker from North Carolina. And these ads, so that becomes a focal point in everything. And in the next couple of years, street skating goes from being just an obscure thing to Tommy Guerrero and Mike Gonzalez and other people like that, bringing it out to where we were, we could be professional skateboarders and make money being a professional street skater. So Don Lloyd and Walker Skateboards and all that was kind of part of that, and I'm decided I moved to Greensboro and I take off and I'm going to be a pro street skater. And anyway, so Reggie Barnes happens to see me at a contest, and bam, next thing I know, I'm talking to Reggie about riding for Walker Skateboards. And a while goes by because Bruce was very hardcore about who he sponsored. You couldn't send him a bad video. You could be the greatest skating in the world, but the really crapped up video, he'd look over it because it wasn't professional all the way through and through. And I never knew this about Mark, but Bruce, but I found out Bruce was a really particular person, and I know why, because he's a great person, and he's a great man, and a smart man. Anyway, blah blah blah. Don't get me started on how smart Bruce is. So I'm trying to get on Walker, and I'm this obscure North Carolina guy, and I go to California, everybody laughs at me, and I come back to East Coast, and I fiddle around, end up in Tallahassee, and end up running into Bruce at a contest. And as I'd heard, you didn't send him a crap video, so I didn't have a video, no way to send him video during those days, the old days before cameras and everything. So I eventually got to skate in front of him in a contest, and he saw me and sponsored me and kind of found me and pulled me out of the middle of nowhere. And next thing I know, I'm sponsored, riding around on a skateboard, and I went on to a pro career, what little of it I had, because skateboarding also kind of plummeted off there right about the time a lot of us street pros or guys were trying to get pro. And my timing, I made some really bad decisions. Bruce laid it all out there for me. But anyway, kind of things happened, and skateboarding went downhill, and we kind of went our separate ways. And skateboarding, I went and became a pro snowboarder for 10 years in Vail and Aspen in Colorado, and met that need. And anyway, came back to skateboarding, and guess what? Dave Bambus, who had ridden for Lake Walker Skateboards in the day, was now working affiliated with Mark Lake at Lake Skateboards. So I, luckily through knowing him, got connected with Mark Lake, and Mark Lake is bringing up the last part of my career, with hooking me up and flowing me now and keeping me up to date. And really my favorite and best part of my career so far, or most fun part, is here at the end when I'm just going out and street skating and doing stuff like this, having a ball and still being a street skater. So Bruce Walker found me in the middle of nowhere, and I've condensed this a lot. Bruce Walker found me out in the middle of nowhere, Reggie Barnes, Don Lloyd, and I found this street skating niche and became a street skating pioneer of Western North Carolina, whatever I want to call myself, but I am. And up and down the East Coast chasing it, and on, and met all kinds of goals, and went everywhere. California pro, Jesse Martin, did demos with Jesse Martinez, Per Wieland, all kinds of pros, Tony Hawk. People talk about my stories and they don't know. A lot of them are really true. But anyway, I know I'm condensing a lot of this into this, but you're going to have to watch it. I don't care. This is a big, important thing. But anyway, so Bruce Walker got me started, put me in the game. An East Coast man from the East Coast put me in the game, and got me through the 80s. And if it wasn't for just some bad decisions and bad timings, I would have had that pro model then in the late 80s. But as it turns out, the way the magic works and the circle goes around and the force flows, I've came around to where I think I might be wanting to get one now in my latter part of my career, when I'm just cruising around having fun. And guess what? Mark Lake and the East Coast Bros are still there with me. Thank you, Mark. Mark's been flowing me, and Dave and Mark have been helping me out with boards and keeping me skating here in the waning days of my last skating ability wise, being able to skate, it's getting down there. But anyway, blah blah blah. Enough to said, and I'm sorry I've been rambling on and on and on, but you could hear me talk to myself sometimes. I'm even gonna have to check my list one more time. See, first of all, I want to thank everybody, and importantly, Mike Fulmer, Sean Petty, all the inductees from Florida, anybody I'm not remembering. Most importantly, Bruce Walker, thank you for getting me in the game, and Mark Lake, thank you for keeping me in the game. Mark and Bruce, thank you both for getting me in the game and keeping me in the game. And Dave Bambas, thanks for lining it all up with Lake and Reggie Barnes, and thank you for lining it up with Walker years and years ago. Thank you very much. And like I said, I've worn these glasses because I've kind of had some tears in my eyes because I couldn't be out there with you guys, because this for me is one of the proudest days I've ever lived, because I know two people that are actually in, and these are friends of mine that I know that are in the Skateboard Hall of Fame. So I'm so proud of you, Mark and Bruce, and I'm so sad that I can't be there with both of you. Have a rad time, boys. Party down. Woo! Nature Boy out.